It's a beautiful Saturday and we're here to give you nothing but the best in terms of sports, and I'm your host Amos aka Amore, and my apologies last week as I had something to cover and Angorapson had to chip in for me. But anyway, I'm joined by the two lads as well, who is Angorapson and Guan Augustine. Angorapson, welcome to the show.
Good morning and welcome back. Amos, we missed you last week and we had a great show with Augustine, and to our dear viewers who are joining us, it's a brilliant Saturday morning, very sunny and bright this morning. We know that the weather has been predicted to be something else, but I think we retain the glory and honor to the Almighty God for these wonderful rains that we are experiencing, and we look forward to a very, very brilliant show where we will share nothing but the best of sport that has been going on both in Zambia and across the continent of Africa. Good morning.
Augustine.
Good morning, Angorapson, Amos, and to all the viewers. We return all the glory and honor to the Most High God for the gift of life and good health. It's been a very, very good week, and we look forward to having an amazing show.
Like the gents have said, we've had a very, very good week of sports, and we'll cover those sports, and we've got a guest in our studios who is just going to join us later as we discuss the race to the top 4. And he will highlight more once he joins us on set. But for now, we'll take a very short break and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet Channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
We saw some interesting results within the course of the week in terms of the AFCON, which 2 games ended in a penalty shootout, and that shootout brought a lot of interest. Angorapson, certain teams that we are not even expected to progress have progressed.
Well, I think for me, big up to Comoros. I think they were the team of the week for me, and when you look at the circumstances in which they went into that match, it was very, very interesting, where all their 3 goalkeepers that were registered to play had either COVID and the other one was on suspension, and I think for them to play that kind of a game of that magnitude, and they were getting into that round for the first time, and to face a team, the host in Cameroon, and they're using a player. That's the Chaka. I think he's the one who was in goals that very day, and producing such a display and losing by 2-1 to the host Cameroon, I think for me was a very, very, very good step in the right direction with regards to the status of football in Africa, actually, because literally this is a tournament that is proving to the whole world that it's a big tournament on the global scene, and teams that have not participated in the previous AFCONs are still doing a very, very fantastic job, and I think it was very, very unfortunate that Comoros lost. They had a red card in the 7th minute, and the goalkeeper, who happened to be the left back of the same team, produced a very, very wonderful and marvelous performance.
You saw the double save.
It was a very, very good save, actually. A very, very nice double save. Actually, it reminds me of a team that played yesterday. We'll talk about Titima also did a very, very fantastic saving because there. But I think over and above for Comoros, congratulations to Cameroon, the host, for going through. And when you look at the match, I really didn't expect Cameroon to just score 2 goals, especially when I saw the red card. Their captain was given matching orders in the 7th minute, and having a player in goals and with a 1-man down and coming back to score a goal and end the match into a 2-1, I think was a very, very big plus for Comoros. And not forgetting the punishment that they've been given, I think it's a little bit unfair. Of course, the rules were broken. If you know, when you're going for a tournament, you have to register your kit numbers, your names and the shirt numbers. So for that player who was in goal that day, Chaka, I think he registered the correct name on the kit, but changed the number to a 16. So he had to be sent back to the dressing room to go and change the number to put 3 on it, and they had to quickly put some zero tapes on it. And for that case, they were fined actually about $2,000 for it. And it was very, very unfortunate, really, very, very unfortunate. But I think above that, hands up to Comoros.
I think Comoros won our hearts more than anything, because probably they played the best football they have gone, if we have to be honest. In terms of build-up play, they were very, very good, building up from the back. They played between the lines very well. They moved the ball a little more quicker than most of the teams at the tournament. Because if you see the rate at the way teams are passing the ball, I think it's a little bit slow. Comoros passed the ball very, very well. They are very, very intelligent in their movement. I think, to me, hats off to them as well. They were probably the best team at the tournament.
I think a lot of comments that came through were more of, even the first goal that Cameroon scored, it's just an issue of the reflex. He's a defender, but he was doing another role. So the reflex, I think, maybe killed the tempo of him. But anyway, kudos to them. But let's look at another disappointing fixture and corruption that we saw Cote d'Ivoire being beaten by Egypt on post penalties, where we saw Eric Bailey wanting to do, I don't know if it was a penalty. but overall, his performance in the game was spectacular for me, and I expected him to be given the man of the match.
Well, those were 2 giants of African football in the past, with a lot of honors attached to them, and getting into that game really, where you saw Ivory Coast and Egypt locking horns, and for me it was an interesting fixture, mouth-watering fixture it was, and we saw some good game. I think for me really this game deserved to be probably a semi-final match, and
in fact even the final,
knocking out a big team of Ivory Coast, and Egypt going through. I think penalties are a very, very unfair of determining who the best team is. But I think it's part of the game, and it's part of the rules of the game, that when you get into a stalemate at 90 minutes, you get another 30 minutes where you need to go and...
Because when you look at the stats and corruption there...
Yeah, the statistics clearly show that the passing accuracy was almost at par. It's 79 versus 75.
Yeah.
For me, that is where the boys played. Look at the total number of passes. There's a very, very minimal gap. Of course, Ivory Coast had more passes than Egypt. But when you look at the tightness of the game, the statistics will show you that it was a very, very tight game. Look at the shots on target. That is probably 8 against 5. And the end result still ended in a goalless draw. Look at the corners, very tight. Kudos to the referee. No red card in the game. The game was flowing, and it was very, very unfortunate for Eric Bailly to go and take a very, very casual penalty, to ask me. And for me, I don't know. Anyway, it's probably mere luck. He lacked that luck that he needed to combat that penalty.
But even the walking and corruption, I think him walking, going to take that penalty, there was no confidence in him.
Exactly.
But would you say the team lacks penalty takers or what?
No. I think for me, the defenders are one of the best penalty takers that I can allude to. But on that particular day, I think a player who doesn't have confidence, probably he was picked and he didn't volunteer to do that. And you could see the way he was taking his steps. He gets to the ball, puts the ball. He behaved as if He's been scoring penalties all his life. You make a step backwards, you
I
are
think
like
2 steps backwards, huh?
away from the ball, and you expect to score. Really,
Hey, look at it.
I was a little bit disappointed. Really, very, very disappointed. He let his team down, especially that he was coming from a very, very fantastic performance in the game. Actually, he did very well in that particular game against Ivory Coast, and against Egypt, and to go and miss a penalty and let down the whole country, it was very, very unfortunate. But I think he was trying to emulate a couple of players that he's been watching taking penalties, which for me is very, very terrible, and it shouldn't happen. Create your own legacy, create your own style of play, and people will remember you for it.
Augustine, a very quick one on the Mali versus Equatorial game that also ended in a post-match penalties where we saw Equatorial Guinea progressing, and I don't know why I'm falling in love with that Equatorial Guinea guy, Salvador. He's been tormenting players like I don't know at the AFCON. And whenever I'm watching Equatorial Guinea, I think he's one of the best players that I see in there. But did you expect such a result?
I think, to me, looking at the side that Mali went with at the Africa Cup of Nations, I think I didn't expect them to get beat by Equatorial Guinea. Later on, getting the game into extra time, I think that was very, very disappointing. Looking at the quality they have in just that central midfield, they've got Yves Bissouma. They've got Aidara, who Manchester United trying to sign. I think those are very, very quality players, together with Kamara, who is in Salzburg, was playing with Enoch Mepo at some point. I think, to me, you expected Mali to walk over Equatorial Guinea, if you have to be honest. But you do realize, again, in this tournament, there are no minnows. I think there are no underdogs at this point in time in African football. I think, to me, Equatorial Guinea are working together as a team. I think, to me, the most disappointing has been their captain, Insui. I think he's had a terrible tournament, let's be honest. I think he missed the penalty.
How do you miss a penalty like that?
He could have costed the Equatorial Guinea, but kudos go to Ovono. I think did very well, kept them into the game, and then later on won the penalty. I think talking about Eric Bailly's penalty kick, I think the penalty kick by the Mali guy, which cost Mali. I think that was a joke. I think, to me, how do you raise up your hand as he was about to take a penalty kick? What was he doing? What was he trying to indicate? I only see that when it's
goalkeepers.
When it's a corner kick, trying to signal to team and say, I'll go short or I'll go long. What was he doing on AO, really? That was a joke.
But anyway, the AFCON is through to the quarterfinals, and there are games that are there today. And the fixtures are as follows. We've got Gambia, who is taking on the host Cameroon. And we've got Burkina Faso taking on Tunisia. These are the two games that are being played today. And tomorrow, the 30th, we've got Egypt playing Morocco, and Senegal, who is going to host Equatorial Guinea. A quick one, Uncle Rapson, on the games.
Well, I think Cameroon is going to face a very, very stern test this afternoon, in the early evenings of the day. It will be afternoon in Cameroon, and it will be a very, 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 very tough fixture for them. I know there was a joke which was going around that every team that plays Cameroon at this AFCON, they end up having a lot of COVID cases, but I think this time around Gambia has survived, and it's a full-strength squad that is going to face Cameroon this afternoon, and it will be a very, very stern test for the home side, I can assure you. And I know with the home support and the crowd, the stadium, I know Gambia will be a little bit under pressure, but I think they've got nothing to lose when they go into this fixture. I saw them win their last match, and the way they played, those guys are playing as a team, and I think the biggest problem that Cameroon is likely to face is the wanting to score attitude in the team. A couple of moments, Abubakar has been trying to be the top scorer.
Yeah, he wants to impress.
I think he wants to break the record, and there are certain opportunities that come where he's
supposed to pass the ball.
Yeah, he ends up just trying to take things personal and go straight on target. And if they don't take their chances this evening, I think Gambia might just cause a very, very shocking result.
Are we seeing this game maybe going through post?
This is a game that will probably end within 90 minutes, within regulation time, because it's I think Gambia are not a pushover really. For them to find themselves in the last 8, they've done their homework, they've been pushing, and they are writing their own history. And to get into this game, I like what their coach does when they are playing and they are scoring. He encourages everybody to up their game, and you can see that even the teamwork. There's literally very few players in the squad that you can actually focus on and say probably this one is a game changer, is going to do this, is going to do that. There's literally nothing like that you can find there. Of course, Cameroon has an upper hand, and they will need to work for their win this afternoon. They really have to.
Another interesting fixture for me here, Augustine, is Egypt versus Morocco, which will be played tomorrow. Something that we've always thought of. North Africans, are they going to face each other on such area in the tournament? But who are you going to give it for? Because when you look at the way Morocco is playing and the way Egypt is playing, there's a very, very huge difference. But them cracking horns tomorrow, who would you go for?
I think North African oppositions tend to grow as the tournament goes. I think, to me, you've seen as they progress, they are getting into second gear and they become more dangerous. I think, to me, I wouldn't be surprised to see Egypt get past Morocco. Morocco on paper look like they have got the best squad because they've got Naziri up front, they've got Sofiane Boufal, they've got Hakimi. I think they've got a lot of quality that can see them through to the next round. Egypt have got the experience because the likes of El Neni, Mohamed Salah, El Shanawi, and Hegazi, I think they've been to this stage. I think they lost the final to Cameroon a couple of years ago. They know what it takes to get into the next stage, and I think probably they'll be dangerous with Mo Salah being in their ranks. I probably fancy Egypt to go into the semi-finals, probably Tunisia as well against Burkina Faso. Tunisia look strong on paper. I think they'll be favourites to get into the next stage. Like Uncle Rapson has said, Cameroon, I think the host with the fans behind them, I think they'll take some stopping, to be honest. And the other quarterfinal, I think it's pretty tricky to see who qualify. But I think two North African teams will be in the semi-final.
You go for the same.
Well,
that's a quick one.
Because Senegal and Guinea to be tight.
Egypt has a couple of players from Awali at the national team, and if you look at the Pitso Mosimani's performance, I think it reflects that the quality of the players that he has there with the squad, and he's been losing games like I don't know back home in Egypt, and it's quite unfortunate. He's lost a couple of games. I think even yesterday he was beaten by 3-0. So it really shows that Egypt, probably they're upping their game at every stage, and a game against Morocco.
My question is, Senegal against Equatorial Guinea, probably Mane will miss this game because of the injury that he sustained.
He's fit, but
is a doubt from what I was getting from some British press. Is a doubt because there's a question mark. They should have substituted him immediately after that collision, but they kept him on. So I think, to me, yes, he scored, but the safety of the player on the day, I think that was the biggest problem. Senegal, they are neither I think maybe we may see an upset in that game.
Anyway, those are the predictions that my colleagues are giving, but it's just them. It's not like it's what you feel. So if you feel like you've got your own prediction, you can call in and give us that prediction that you have. But for now, we'll just take a very, very short break as we come back to look at the Eden League.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel. From 31st January to 6 February 2022, Zambia's spiritual atmosphere will take a paradigm shift. The Bible says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord."
Zambia, a nation under God conference
will be starting at 20:45 hours
to 22:30 hours.
Live on Camnet TV channel 274 on DSTV, GoTV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Speakers will be
Bishop Stanley Simnyola, Grace Ministries,
Dr. Nevas Mumba, Victory Ministries,
Apostle Michael Mutemwa from South Africa,
Bishop Nelly Chikwanda, New Life Christian Center,
Apostle Rick Kamwanga, Risen Life Church International,
Bishop Joy Makando, Bread of Life,
Bishop Alex Mwami of Holy Ghost Firehouse from South Africa, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua.
Camnet Television,
Not just another channel.
We've been having interesting games, and we are seeing the way the log is changing in terms of the Eden and corruption, where we see Lumwana tops, Napsa tops, Lumwana tops, Napsa tops, and when it comes, and when it comes to the to the Super League, we'll come to that. But let's look at the Eden and corruption.
It's only once.
We've seen where Lumwana is now topping the table, and the way Napsa started the season, it was up to high speed. Are we seeing this going through till the end of the season, where we see Lumwana having it all?
Well,
before we go to the games that are there,
Eden is a very, very tight league, and I think kudos to the two teams that dropped from the Premier League. They maintained their squads, they enhanced their squads, they tried to do everything possible to keep the players they have, and to see Lumwana Radiants leapfrogging Napsa Stars for the first time, I think in as many as 18 weeks. Is a good and a positive sign that there's competition in Eden. And when you see, for me, that is a two-horse race. I know it's tight, but I think it's a two-horse race. And those two teams, Lumwana Radiants and Napsa Stars, for me, they are the only teams, again, that are also in the Napsa games that will be taking place. And to be where they are now, I think Lumwana Radiants is very lucky. They were given 3 goals and 3 points because Kaisa failed to travel. And I think the rules are very clear. We can't discuss on what should happen.
Yeah.
But I think the rules are laid down on the table that if a team fails to travel, the other team is given an opportunity to be head. Of course, Kaisa was head. They presented their case, but Faz ruled against them, and they said 3 points will go to Lumwana Radiants. And now they are tied at 39 points with the Napsa Stars, and it's very, very interesting. The goal difference separates the two teams, and it's very tight. When you look at the log, I think from position 8, where Quito United is, all the way up to the first, they are only separated, up to the top 4 really, they are only separated by about 3 points. So it's 3 to 4 points. It's a very, very tight call, if you ask me. Very, very tight call on who's going to accompany the two. For me,
they've already booked their spot.
No. It's very open. But I think if you look at the consistency of their performances, Lumwana Radiants and Napsa Stars, they are toiling and grinding results. They are working hard for each other. They are playing as complete squads, and they are not leaving any stone unturned. And to see them go through this qualification, chasing qualification to the Super League, I think they are better placed to do that. The positions that are for grabs, I think the battle starts from about City of Lusaka. They are somewhere there, Quito United, City of Lusaka, all the way up to FC Muza, who's, I think, sitting head on the log. It's very, very tight, if you ask me. Very, very tight.
And just a quick run through on the games that we are having. It's we've got Young Buffaloes who are hosting Young Green Eagles, and it's today, and it will be live also on ZNBC. And we've got Luapula Green Eagles versus Napsa, which will be played at Kaole Stadium, and we've got Trident versus Quattro Kalumbila, and we've got Zesco Malite Rangers versus Gomes, Livingstone Pirates versus Lumwana Radiants, and Kitwe United versus City of Lusaka, FC Muza versus Police College. But let's look at the interesting fixtures, Augustine, where we are seeing the top 2 teams that are just being separated by goals, where Napsa Stars will be Luapula Green Eagles will be hosting Napsa Stars, and Livingstone Pirates will be hosting Lumwana Radiants.
I think if you look at them, these fixtures, I think they're tricky fixtures. Luapula, Buffaloes, I think, and Livingstone Pirates haven't been doing very well this season, if you have to be honest. But it's always tricky when you travel far away from your home ground. I think and Napsa will have it tough. It won't be an easy game, because these teams look, when they are in the National League, they look to play teams like Napsa Stars. You are always motivated. These games alone motivate you. You do not need to get any motivation from the coach. Pirates, you're hosting a Lumana region side. I think they've got their boy in Edward Chifwembe is with Lumana Radiance. He'll be welcomed in Livingston when he faces his former team. Josephat Kasusu has been very, very impressive. I think to me, he's the difference. I think if you look at Napsa Stars, they do not have that guy who is getting them a lot of goals compared to Lumana Radiance. We've got Josephat Kasusu who's scoring this season for fun. I think he's been very, very impressive. Josephat Kasusu is going to be the guy that will help them get back into the Premier League, or maybe later on win the league. If you look at another encounter, I think interestingly, it's the return of Albert Mpande to Quito United. I think that would be the game, my game of the week. I think Quito United and City of Osaka, because when they priced him away from Quito United, I think they got that advantage over their rivals for the top four. I think it's an interesting league to see. We've seen teams like Nchanga blowing hot and cold. Today you see Nchanga Rangers, you see, oh, these guys look like the Super League material. And then the following week you watch them, they look like they are playing provisional football. I think consistency with
consistency.
Coming to the discussion of City of Lusaka facing Quito, they are facing Quito United.
Yes.
Albert Mpande was given a red card last weekend, and that red card came in after the match had ended. The man was harassing match officials like I don't know, and I think if City of Lusaka's officials were in the stadium, they will concur with me that they need to manage the temperament of Albert Mpande. I watched that game. There was a doubleheader at Woodland Stadium. Napsa Stars played the first game, and City of Lusaka played the second game, and I think the levels of indiscipline were a bit high in that particular game, and I think the coach should have done better. The coach should have done better, because there is no way you, as a head coach, you're actually in the forefront of harassing match officials. It's very unacceptable. He was given a red card. I think that was about 2 minutes after the match had ended. Now, even that interview, that a post-match interview, he couldn't give it, because that was a time when the tempers were very high.
Or still high.
Getting into that game where he's going to Garden Park this afternoon, and by the way, he has lost that Angel Boy, that player, my player.
Exactly,
the top striker from City of Lusaka. Well, kudos to Nchanga Rangers for identifying talent. I was busy smiling in the stadium, telling my colleagues that I would be in touch with our Nkana scouts. This is a player that I had identified. I think from the start of the season, I've been watching and following that guy. I think Angel is a very, very top class player, and he's made a switch to Nchanga Rangers, and Nchanga Rangers are also in the top four, and they need to maintain that slot in the top four. They are just right behind FC Musa in the fourth position, and that would be a very, very interesting sign for Nchanga Rangers. I think we are yet to see. I think they've also signed, I think there's another player called, is it Roderick? They've signed another player, Ronald Chiwe. I think they've signed another player. So Nchanga Rangers, when you look at their position and the game that they'll be playing tomorrow, they've signed two new players that have joined them, and those two new players, I think the game that City of Lusaka won at Woodland Stadium last week, 90% of the effort in that particular goal came from Angel. And little did I know that he was saying goodbye to City of Lusaka fans. And this weekend he'll be donning a different jersey.
Exactly.
At Nchanga Rangers.
One Basopo giving us results that I'll bring Basopo in one of these days.
Coming to the game. Let's look at Lumana. These are top two teams with Napsa Stars. Napsa Stars, I think they've done about 650 Ks to go and play soccer in Mansa. Lumana Radiance, I can't even know how many kilometers they've done from where they are to Livingston, because it's an issue of north to south. It's the longest journey that you can travel to go and
from province to province.
And I'm hoping that they traveled early enough in good time so that the players can recover. Because the kind of fatigue that you can build on the road, and you go and face a relegation threatened Livingston Pirates. I think they are also playing to survive, so probably to be a very, very tough encounter for Lumana Radiance. The same applies to Napsa Stars. Of course, Napsa Stars were clever and intelligent. They traveled early enough. They were in Mansa on Thursday, so they spent the whole day, the whole afternoon in training. Friday they were training and relaxing. I'm sure their bodies are well.
And talking of Nchanga and Rapson, they are playing tomorrow, which will be hosting Jumulo, and Kaisa will be hosting Maite Mufulira Wanderers.
Well, Jumulo have lost one player on mutual consent, and I think facing a team that is on the positive trajectory and trying to maintain the fourth position, it will be a very, very interesting encounter, if you ask me. And I think Nchanga Rangers, for once, all things being equal, these are teams that we should be watching in the Super League, and all the best to them.
Augustine.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think this race, I think, will probably show us who is suited to play in the top league, because it's going to be very, very tough. Musa, having acquired the services of Masao Sotembo, I think it gave them that extra boost. You look at City of Lusaka, they changed their coaches. I think probably when you look at that top half of the table, it's just Naps and Lumana who haven't changed their head coaches. I think the rest, the chasing pack have changed their coaches at some point, and we are going to see who is the best tactician from the Eden League that will take their team back into the Super League.
And that was a quick one on the Eden. So keep glued, because that the league is very interesting, and the race to the top 4 is also becoming very, very hot as we progress to see the games. But for now, we'll take a very, very short break, and we'll be joined by our guest on set as we continue to discuss the Super League and other issues concerning football. Now, take a short break.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
From 31st January to 6th February 2022, Zambia's spiritual atmosphere will take a paradigm shift. The Bible says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord."
Zambia, a nation under God conference
will be starting at 20:45 hours
to 22:30 hours.
Live on Camnet TV channel 274 on DSTV, GoTV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Speakers will be
Bishop Stanley Simnyola, Grace Ministries;
Dr. Nevas Mumba, Victory Ministries;
Apostle Michael Mutemwa from South Africa;
Bishop Nelly Chikwanda, New Life Christian Center;
Apostle Rick Kamwanga, Risen Life Church International;
Bishop Joy Makando, Bread of Life;
Bishop Alex Mwami of Holy Ghost Firehouse from South Africa; and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua.
Camnet Television,
not just another channel. Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the show that gives you nothing but the best of sport, and now we are going to focus our energies on the the Zambian Super League, as well as the English Premier League games that actually happened, and what is happening across the continent of Africa, as well as the European side of things. And now in the studio we are joined by no other than our special guest for this morning, by the name of Julius. Julius, welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you very much, Robson, for having me. It's good to be here, and good morning to you, and good morning to the viewers out there.
Augustine, very quickly, we had interesting games during the course of the week. Starting from Wednesday, it's been a very, very busy week. I hate to talk about weekend games. We'll start from the midweek games. So, the first game of the week, we saw Nkana Football Club hosting Kabwe Warriors at Nkana Stadium, and that match ended in a very, very controversial way, where at the end of the day, Nkana Football Club emerged victorious, and got their 3 points and ended up getting into the top 4.
Yeah, I think Nkana, they had to bounce back from a defeat to Red Arrows. I think before being beat by Red Arrows, they are in such good decent form. Nkana, they had only drawn, I think, is it once in their last 5. Coming up against Kawaya's side, who haven't found their feet, I think, under Mr. Takatiko. I think they have found it hard to get results. I think, especially victories. Kawaya's. If you look at the players, I think to me they lack confidence. Their body language doesn't look great. I think Kawaya's. I think that's why they are finding it hard to find results against Nkana. It was always going to be tough at Chilata. They are going to come up against Alex Ngonga, who has been in top form. Won a very, very biased penalty, if you have to be honest. I think shameful Alex Ngonga. He's a cheat. He dived. I think to me, that's unacceptable. At any level of football, Alex Ngonga should have been booked, and that penalty should have been stood, because it's disappointing for people traveling from Kawe going to Quito to see a game being decided by Alex Ngonga cheating. That was clearly cheating by Alex Ngonga. I think it's a shameful act by Basil.
Okay.
maybe Raphael, can I comment? Just a quick one on what Augustine is saying. When you look at that penalty, referees are human. Right?
Yes.
And they're bound to make mistakes. But then the tricky part with that decision that was made by Nyondo is that, his positioning wasn't good.
Wrongly positioned.
His positioning wasn't good. But for us that had an opportunity to watch the game on TV, where you can review what happened, you're able to notice that that one was not a penalty. It was very unfair to Cabo Warriors. And I think for me, the best person who was supposed to give a better position was the second assistant, who was this side, because he was in a better position to quickly call the referee and tell him, for me,
there's no contact.
Exactly. And the referee has
Gentlemen.
He's got the right. He can.
All right, gentlemen. Hold your thoughts, gentlemen. The referee only has milliseconds to make a decision in every game.
Exactly.
And in that particular incident, I think the biggest takeaway from that game is that assistant referees should do a better job when it comes to assisting the referees.
But that's the reason why he has,
because the assistant referee was actually correctly positioned to call it, but unfortunately, he went ahead and sided with the referee. Other than that, gentlemen,
the positioning of the referee was wrong. Exactly. That's why this whole thing, I call it, Alex Ngonga was a cheat, because he cannot dive like that. I think to me, what example is he showing for the young upcoming footballers? I think to me, not even a touch of a mosquito can make a buzz, or like a player like Alex Ngonga fall like
gentlemen,
that.
I think the Nkana fans are going to crucify you when they find you in the
They always do.
Talk about that.
They always do.
Because at this point in time, I think for me, I'll focus my energies on Cabo Warriors. Mr. Takatiko has gone to Cabo, and from the time that he became the Cabo Warriors coach, he's never recorded a win. And I think we saw the usual trend where the coach shifts and gets to this club, joins this club, goes back to his old club, picks a player. Ocean Mshuri for me was one of the best players on the field of play at Nkana Stadium. Julius.
Yes, Robson. First things first. The decision by the Cabo Warriors Exco to get rid of Bakala was a wrong decision.
Exactly.
There's no way that you can get rid of a coach and you don't reinforce your squad. You don't bring in players. How do you expect the coach to perform? What they would have done is they would have brought in a few players. What Cabo Warriors is lacking is we do not have strikers to score. They do not have strikers to score for them. The likes of Jimmy and Aka, they've grown old. They're tired legs now. They need a replacement. So it was a mistake in the first place for Cabo Warriors Exco to get rid of Ian Bakala. They would have given him a chance. This is a guy that last season helped them finish in the top 4.
Yes, getting into continental.
So there's no way that they could get rid of him. That was a mistake.
All right, gentlemen.
They now Robson quickly bring in Mr. Takatiko. Now look at the tactical they brought in. He's gone 6 games. They haven't won.
All right. Let's shift our focus to.
It's a sad story for Cabo.
Let's shift our focus to the game that was played on Friday yesterday, where we had the first game, Zesco United playing in Deni, and we saw Zesco United grinding
A 1-0.
A 1-0 victory over Indenia in a match that was very, very tight, and it was a match where we saw veterans in Graven Chitalu on the other side, and Winston Karengo on the other side of the team, and very interesting mixture of young and old for Zesco United. What is your take about that game that was played at 13 hours yesterday?
I think the game, Zesco United beating Indeni 1-0 shows you the mark of champions. I think to me, they have had it tough in their last, 5-6 games, I think to me, but they're getting the job done, whether ugly or not, they are getting the job done. 1-0 scorelines against Chambishi, against Indeni, and I think they've got 3, against Kauras. 3 games are getting it 1-0 scoreline. I think they are trying to get into a rhythm whereby the confidence is high and they are playing free-flowing football. Zesco United, they need to get closer to Red Arrows and challenge for the league title. They are the defending champions. I think probably if you look at the chasing pack, they are probably the most likely to win the league title. If you look at it, Red Arrows, the only team they can worry most, I think it's Zesco United. If they get into second gear, they find the right balance, Zesco United will be a threat, and it showed against Indeni. Indeni were very, very solid, very, very hard to beat. Graben Chitaru has gone there and made them. Is it Graben? Sorry, is it?
The skipper Graben Chitaru.
Graben Chitaru, yeah, he's very, very good up front. I think he's bringing in his experience. He probably will survive this relegation and put Kafue Celtic in trouble.
Julius, shifting focus to the goal that Zesco United scored. When you look at the double save that Joshua Titima made after, I think the first one was a free kick, went hit the crossbar, came back, there was a header that was going in, towards goal. He punched it, and that punch for me is an amateur punch. There is no way you are going to punch a ball in the path of a striker, and it was a very, very easy goal. Of course, he was a very good goalkeeper on the day, and what is your view about that particular goal? Because I think for me, it was within range of being stopped without being punched.
Yeah, like you're saying, I think for a goalkeeper of his caliber, Joshua Titima is an experienced goalkeeper, seasoned goalkeeper. For me, I didn't really expect him to make such. For me, it was, for lack of a better term, it was a silly mistake by the veteran goalkeeper. There's no way that you can punch the ball in front of a player. At least in his position, he was able to hold the ball. But him punching the ball was a very wrong decision. He costed his friends. But then also quickly talking about the Indeni and Zesco game, Robson, Coach David Chilufya meeting Numba Numamba, his former boss at Zanaco. Coach David has been doing very well at Indeni. He's gone 6 games without losing.
With back-to-back victories.
Yes, without losing. So I was actually thinking in that game he was going to collect the maximum.
Quickly, let's look at the top 4.
Very sad that.
Let's look at the top 4. As at yesterday, Red Arrows is leading the pack at 39 points. Zesco United is second at 37 points. Green Eagles is third with 33 points. Nkana closes the top 4 bracket with potential of being knocked out this afternoon by Green Buffaloes, who've got a game in hand which they are playing today against Red Arrows. And Butekon is also sitting on 6th position with 31 points, as you can see there. Power Dynamos followed by Power Dynamos at 31, Nkwazi at 29, Zanaco at 29, Forest. Okay, shifting to the relegation, we've got Kafue Celtic at the bottom of the log. I mean, sorry, in the last position of the relegation battle. Kafue Celtic is sitting at 20 points. Chambishi is at 18 points. Konkola Blades at 16. Not so good for Lusaka Dynamos being at the bottom of the log. But our main focus, and the reason why we could use Julius to join us this particular morning, is looking at the race to the top 4. What is your take about the teams that are heading towards the top 4 before we come to the fixtures?
All right, starting with Red Arrows, the team that's on top. They've gone 16 games unbeaten. At Red Arrows, Chisimbewe has organized a very good side. They are playing very good football on the field of play. This Red Arrows team is a team that has got. Today they can use this team to play. Tomorrow they use another team. They've got they've got the players who've got the desire to play, they have a passion to play, and I think the coordination between Coach Chisimbewe and his players is good, therefore causing them to cause problems for most of his teams. They actually beat Red Arrows last week 3-0. So for me, I see them being crowned champions of 2021-2022 this season. Actually, the last time they were crowned champions was in 2004. Yeah, that's the time so I'm looking forward to them being crowned champions for the second time this time around. Second position, well, Zesco United, looking at their performance, they will finish in the top in the top 4. Green Eagles, the problem is that they've been inconsistent.
Exactly.
They faced Lusaka Dynamos, they won a goal to nil. Wednesday they were playing Zanaco, they drew. Today they face Nkwazi. Looking at the way Nkwazi has been performing, Nkwazi is also an average team, but then they might just show Green Eagles at Independence Stadium. So anyway, for me, Green Eagles may maintain the third position, but they'll still remain in the fourth position. That's me. The other team to join the top 4 is Power Dynamos. I think the team has resurrected with the coming in of Mwenyache Pepo. Though they have had draw games, they drew against Prison Leopards at home, they drew against Forest Rangers yesterday, but I see them finishing in the top 4. The boys have been motivated.
So give us a summary of your top 4 very quickly.
So summary of my top 4: Red Arrows first position, second position Zesco United, third position Power Dynamos, fourth position Green Eagles.
Augustine,
I think
very quickly, we are running out of time.
Looking at the current top 4, I think Red Arrows and Zesco United will maintain their position. They will maintain their places in that top 4, having in mind that they played continental football last season and they have got the experience and they know how to get into continental football. And looking at the other 2 slots, I think they will be up for grabs. If you ask me, I think one Kitwe team will make it, but I don't think it's Power Dynamos, because Power Dynamos, I think we've seen this story with Perry Mutapa when he went into the job. They had this fantastic run, then they started dropping off when it was at the crucial point. It looks like the same this season.
That's where Mwenyache Pepo is.
That's where Mwenyache Pepo is, and I feel Ghana, with what based on Chambeshi has assembled, Ghana will make the top 4, probably Green Eagles or GBFC.
Very quickly, let's look at the fixtures that will be taking place this afternoon. Green Buffaloes is hosting Red Arrows at Woodland Stadium this afternoon. And very quickly on this match, Green Buffaloes last won their league match, I think, in November against Concordia Blades. And they've gone 8 games without recording a single victory. Out of those 8 games, they've lost 4 times and drawn 4 times. Very quickly, Augustine, as you look at that game.
I think my focus will focus more on GBFC. Red Arrows have been doing fantastic and beaten in the last 16 games. GBFC, they are probably losing their top scorer Friday Sam to Marisburg United.
He's already signed.
That would be a very, very big blow for GBFC, because
they've gotten Gozon.
Gozon is probably more of a defensive midfielder or box-to-box type of a midfielder. If you look at what Friday Sam did with Martin Jovu, the two being played together, I think they shared the goals between them. They scored a lot of goals. Now we are taking out one guy from them. I think it will be a bit difficult, because we saw games where by Friday Sam is off form, then Martin turns up, and you see Martin is off form, then Friday turns up. But now the pressure is on just this young boy Martin Jove. I think you need to see Posim Bemba and Robin Siame chipping in with the goals. But knowing Martin Jove, with the experience of playing at Changa Rangers, they will tell you the pressure playing for Changa Rangers is bigger than playing for any team. If you can do it at Changa Rangers, you can do it at any club. Nathan and Uncle Rezga will tell you.
Very quickly, Julius, Green Eagles is hosting Nkwazi Football Club, and I think in the reverse fixture, it ended in a stalemate at Edwin Imboya Stadium. It was Nkwazi Football Club new and Green Eagles new. Now we have a reverse fixture being hosted at Independence Stadium in Choma.
Like I earlier alluded to, Rabson, Green Eagles have been inconsistent. I remember a few months ago, their coach Agri Chiangi was being interviewed by one of his media personnel, and he openly said it in front of camera. He said the problem that Zambia is having is that we are lacking strikers. We have average strikers. Now, that statement is hurting him, because we haven't seen much from his strikers at Green Eagles scoring. Most of the people that are scoring are defenders. You see, they're scoring from a set piece, it's a corner, and the defender scores. So already he declared it himself that in Zambia we do not have.
And he even challenged the media to say, Tell me one striker who I can sign, a local striker, and bring him to Green.
Exactly. So with history at Independence Stadium, most of the teams when they go there, they don't collect maximum points. I see Green Eagles winning by 1-0.
All right. The Crooks, struggling Crooks, fantastic display, fantastic entertaining football when you see them playing. This afternoon they are hosting no other than Buttecon.
Exactly what I anticipated from these boys when they came up.
I remember in
good,
one.
expansive football, but the immaturity will be the reason why they go down. I think to me, probably they will learn. I think they've signed, 2 players from...
very disappointing if you ask me.
Exactly.
From Bowden United.
Bootham Academy, I think 2 from Bootham.
2 players from Bowden.
For me, they wouldn't even have signed those players because they have enough players to play.
Yes, enough young players who can play. I think to me those have been very, very surprising.
Maybe it's an exceptional talent that we are not watching, gentlemen. Those could be one of the best players that the country has been looking for with regards to talent and
one thing I can accept from your statement is that they are signing these players for the Eden University, not to save them for this Super League, because probably they'll lose Albert Kangwanda when they go down. They probably lose Peter Chikola when they go down. They probably lose Musa Siwala when they go down. That's why they've signed those boys to come and get the experience and help them in the Eden League, not for saving them in the Super League.
What is your expectation in that game?
This afternoon, Buttecon, they are very, very tough nut to crack. They enjoy playing on the counter. They'll soak up the pressure, hit them on the counter. They've got enough experience. Luwinda Mundia, Patrick Ngoma, gift request. I think they'll just win it maybe by a goal to nil.
In the reverse fixture, Celtic won by a goal to 0. Julius, very quickly on Kafue Celtic versus Buttecon.
I see Kafue Celtic winning today by 2-1. Though Buttecon has also been in good form. They're playing very, very good football. They have that assistant coach. All right, Boyd Mwanda, doing very well with Buttecon team. So
which was expected to struggle.
Exactly, but then you see what, like you said, Augustine. Just echoing your words, you see, Kafue Celtic is a team that has got so much talent, but the problem is that, for lack of a better term, they just play for flowers.
Exactly.
They're lacking maturity.
They play to
and
the gallery.
One time, I think I was watching them at Imboil and I was talking to their coach. I was talking to their goalkeeper coach, and he was telling me, my brother, we are here to just bring the boys here to be seen, and we let them go. So
big spending Kansashi Dynamos. Of course, they might not have spent because they got players as free agents, but I think it's
their wage bill is it's very heavy.
They've actually gotten rid of the careless millionaire.
Exactly.
Big spending Kansashi Dynamos. In the reverse fixture against Chambishi, in Chambishi, the game ended in a new scoreline, and this afternoon, Chambishi has travelled all the way to Kansashi Dynamos. What is your expectation in that game?
Kansashi Dynamos are now looking over their shoulders because it's not getting pretty. They are in that dog's fight together with Kafue Celtic, the teams that I'm talking about, together with Chambishi. So when these teams meet, it's a 6-pointer. Whoever wins, I think, gets an advantage of trying to get to safe land. I think you've seen Indeni just back-to-back victories, and they should be going closer to mid-table. Kansashi will need to put their act right, and soon. They need to get this result against Indeni. Marvin Jerry, can he be the difference? I hope so, because he creates chances, and Jesse Ware is the kind of guy that will flourish playing with Marvin Jerry, Bruce Msakanya, and Alfonso behind him to create chances for him. I think Kansashi will win this one by 2-0 probably.
Okay, the next fixture that we are going to focus on is actually Konkola Blades versus Zanaco Football Club. In the reverse fixture, Konkola Blades travelled all the way to Lusaka Sunset Stadium and shocked the bankers by 2-0. Now, Zanaco has travelled, and Zanaco has recalled Rachakola. Remember, Rachakola was one of the players that was released earlier in the season. I think what Zanaco went back, I think they went back to the drawing board and decided to recall Racha and 2 other players. I will not mention them until we see them in the squads, but they have recalled, I think, about 3 players from that list who are back with the squad. And Racha has travelled with the team to go and face Konkola Blades this afternoon.
Konkola Blades played in Kwazi, and it was a 1-0 draw at Imboila Stadium. Them playing from home to the Lavombe Stadium. It's not easy to win that side. I was talking to one of the players and I watched them at Imbola Stadium. He was very optimistic that they're going to beat Zanaco. So it would be interesting to see how they're going to come in this game. Zanaco has made a few signings. They've signed Mwilapiri. They also brought in Emmanuel Mwinde, who played in the last game that they played against Green Eagles, put in a full-time shift. So it will be interesting to see how Zanaco is going to come in this game. But for me, it's either going to be a draw or Konkola Blades is going to win, because Kelvin Karinda also has not been consistent. Their results are not favouring him on his side. So I don't see him collecting maximum points in Chizilabombe.
Augustine, Zanaco Football Club, they've drawn their last 4 games without recording any victory in their last 4 games, and now they've travelled to Konkola. And will they avenge their 2-0 deficit that they suffered at the hands of Konkola Blades at Sunset Stadium?
It's going to be very, very tricky. If you look at Zanaco, the last 2 seasons, they haven't been the best travellers. I think it was the problem under Chris Kaunda. It hasn't improved this season under Kelvin Kaindo. I think away from home, Zanaco have looked awful, if I have to be honest. They've lost Rodrick Kawe. He looked like he was getting into the rhythm and trying to help them in terms of the creative part. They've lost him to, he has gone to Sekekume United in South Africa. Brand Miller comes in. Brand, is it? What is Mwilapiri. Yeah, he's more of a direct replacement, because when it comes to dead ball situations, he's probably the best in the league. So you give them that advantage in that regard. But if you look at Zanaco, they're not killing off games. I think they're finding it hard to get goals. I think if it's not Moses Spirit, they're finding it hard to score. Abraham Sankombo started the season very well, but he hasn't been doing very well lately. So they need someone who can come in and help in terms of goals. I hope Mwindi will be the guy they can turn to, but I see.
By the way, I watched the lad in midweek at Sunset Stadium, and I think he has resurrected his career. He played
just
very well.
He needs to do that.
On Wednesday against Green Eagles.
He's actually a very good player. He just needs more game time.
Exactly.
All right. The last game of the afternoon is actually Prison Leopards, who are facing struggling and not so impressive Lusaka Dynamos Football Club. And Lusaka Dynamos really has been very, very disappointing. And out of their last 5 games, they've only drawn 2 and lost 3. And they are sitting bottom of the league, if you ask me. And when you look at that particular fixture and the position where Prison Leopards is, they are looking forward to winning this game and probably leapfrogging into 8th position on the log. What is your take on this particular fixture, my guy?
I think, interestingly enough, it's how Lusaka Dynamos, I think, have gone from bad to worse, I think, to me, within a short space of time. From winning the APSA Cup to a team bottom of the table, I think it's very, very embarrassing if you look at Lusaka Dynamos. Just this January, they've lost Marvin Jerry to Kansanshi Dynamos. They've lost their left back, Ocean Mushuri, who's moved on to Car Warriors. Rumors are Colin Sikombe is moving to Zesco United. I think to me it's very Zesco United. I think this is the latest news that's coming through. He's moving to Zesco United. It's not looking pretty for Lusaka Dynamos. The question is, will they even manage to have 18 players on the match day? Because when they traveled to Chilawombe to face Blades, they went with 15 players. I think to me that's not good for a team in the Super League. They'll get beat again by Prison Leopards. I do not see any way how these Lusaka Dynamos will resurrect and get 3 points at the President Stadium.
Julius.
Problems at Lusaka Dynamos are more than what the eyes are seeing.
Exactly.
They lost to Green Eagles at home. This time around, they've gone to President Stadium in Kabwe, and you know how President Stadium is. That's a slaughterhouse. Most big teams don't win when they go there. I don't see them collecting maximum points. Prison Leopards is going to win that game. I actually see. For me, I can actually confirm. If you want, you can call me back perhaps again on this show. And I'll confirm it now that I don't see Lusaka Dynamos resurrecting from that relegation zone.
Exactly.
They will be relegated.
The circumstances are not favouring them to come out of that relegation battle, looking at the number of players that they are fielding every game, because that problem started when they went to Sunset Stadium. I was at pains to see 15 players on the bench when they're supposed to be having 18 players.
The biggest problem is upstairs. That's where the biggest problem is coming from.
Okay, very quickly.
Management.
Exactly, management.
That's very quickly, gentlemen. Let's look at the player movements in this transfer window, which is coming to an end in the next 2 days. What are the
actually on Monday?
In the next 2 days.
Yeah.
In the next 48
Power
hours.
Dynamo signing Aaron Katebe. Whoa! I didn't see that coming.
Let's look at 2 things here. There's Brian Miller and Aaron Katebe, who has Of course, yeah, no, I'm talking about Power Dynamos.
Oh, yeah.
Let's look at Banmila. Yesterday, he missed a very nice header, which I think the goalkeeper saved right on the line.
He's
And
missing chances.
And he needs to start scoring because the pressure will be on him, because Power Dynamos needed a goal scorer. They brought him to score goals.
businessman Aaron Katewe has joined Power Dynamos Football Club.
Probably Monash people inspired signing because he was with him at Indian.
I think for me, the biggest man with the biggest CV in the Zambian league at the moment with regards to player movements, I think he stands out to be one of the top players who spends one season at the club.
He's almost facing a former team every weekend. Every weekend he plays, it's either he's facing his former team. That's how much he's moved.
Robson, on a lighter note, Muilapiri has been signed by Zanaco. In one of his social media groups that I'm in, the guys were making fun of him, like, yeah, Zanaco was rated a buyer. The guy is really indeed a big buyer. Man, we're not talking about being a big buyer, but bring results on the field of play. So it will be interesting to see what impact is going to bring in the Zanaco squad.
To our dear viewers who are with us and watching us on this particular program, Augustine, your closing remarks under 1 minute.
I think a big thanks to all the viewers out there that tuned in to watch the show. We always appreciate your effort. A big thanks to the entire production team for making this possible, and a big thanks to Julius here for making this show explosive, and we look forward to weekend's fixtures. Bye for now.
Julius, our guest for today, probably we are very grateful that you came and you were with us, and what are your closing remarks and your emphasis to the games, the explosive game that is happening at Woodland Stadium this afternoon?
Thank you so much, Robson, for hosting me, having me on your show. It's been great. I've enjoyed myself. I'm looking forward to coming soon and very soon. It's been great also being with Augustine and the rest of the team. The game of the weekend is going to be Red Arrows, Green Buffaloes. For those that are in Lusaka, find time to be at Woodland Stadium and see the sparks and explosive in that game as you witness the road to the second title for the Airmen.
Interesting, and I'm sure Augustine is smiling because that particular,
I know I'll get a replica for myself.
That particular remark actually closes our show. And this morning, to all of you that have been following our presentations here, Camnet Stars is having their first league game of the season, and the game is actually being played at Kablonga Boys Day Secondary School, and it would be nice from here. We are rushing there to go and cover that match live, to go and support our own Camnet Stars Soccer Academy this morning. To our dear viewers who've joined us from the beginning of the show to this particular time, like I always say, that what goes up must always come down, and it's been an interesting show, and all roads lead to Woodland Stadium this afternoon to go and witness the bashing of one of the two military teams this afternoon. I'm not going to say which team is going to lose or which team is going to win. It's going to be an explosive encounter. To our dear viewers who joined us this morning, we say keep watching Camnet TV, because Camnet is not just another channel. My name is Rabson. We'll see you next weekend.